What's up, guys? I'm back again with another video. Here to do, as the title says, way too late for this. I don't know why I did this a week or 2 weeks ago or as soon as the month started, but what better way to close out February than to end with this video? But the title, you gotta tell by the title. This is just my opinion. Let me know in the comment section what your top 10 is. Some, excuse me, if there's anything I excluded, let me know. But this is my top ten movies to celebrate for Black History Month. And I'm going to be going from 10 to 1. And like I said, this is just my opinion. This list might have some movies that you guys have seen. It might not. Let me know when this is over. But starting with number 10, Straight Outta Compton. This came out in 2015, produced by Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, and directed by F. Gary Gray, who previously worked with Ice Cube on Friday. And this movie details the rise and success of NWA. And yes, while the movie does have its flaws, it does exclude a few things that are very important. I think it does bring a light on it does shed a whole light on how important rising up to adjusting to success. And it didn't dwell on the gang violence. It was just about, like I said, success and how to stay there and how to get there, and how different people of them handled it while being in the spotlight. So yes, that's number 10. Next one, number 9, another Ice Cube movie, Boys in the Hood. This was Ice Cube's debut film after breaking apart with NWA. This was like America's Most Wanted time, and it's about three best friends who have, I guess, different goals or what have you. And this is probably John Singleton's directional debut, and was it the only time he has made a movie like this. And he did not disappoint with this movie. Ice Cube knocked it out of the park. All of these actors were exceptional, and everyone in this movie were soon to be stars. I mean, look at what happened with Cuba Gooding. He won an Oscar for Jerry Maguire, and Morris Chestnut. He had lots of acting success after this movie. And Ice Cube, this led into his acting career, and he just started blowing up in the film industry with producing and writing his own scripts. And yeah, this movie was exceptional, great direction. It does have a lot of it is a hood movie, of course, but it does also have a lot of drama, and shows people that shows, in my opinion, that no matter where you grow up, if you work hard enough, you can grow out of the hood, like Trey and I can't forget the other character's name, but it's a lot of emotion. And yeah, this is a great movie. Next one, number 8. I recently just saw this movie, One Night in Miami. This is the movie that came out on Amazon Prime. This is directed by the great Regina King, who was also in Boys in the Hood. And she also worked along with John Singleton and Poetic Justice. And as her directional debut, this film was exceptional, and I was expecting there to be more interactions within, not more interactions, but within the setting. I was expecting there to be different locations and different settings, but it's just a bunch of historical figures hanging out together and having different opinions on the world and how they're viewed as African Americans in the late 60s, in the late 1960s. And this is just a great film, great direction, great cinematography. The actor, I can't remember his name, the actor that plays Malcolm X, he embodies him, looks just like him. I mean, this movie is just great. I recommend this movie to everyone. The next one, number 7, Black Klansman, which I recently just saw this movie as well. I don't know why it took me a long time to watch this movie. Um, but John David Washington plays um, plays a detective in the 1960s who goes undercover. This is based on a real story. Who goes undercover and tries to infiltrate the KKK, and you can tell within the movie he has a lot of inexperience because there are a lot of times where he's on the verge of getting caught, and he's only able to get out with someone helping him out. Same thing with Adam Driver's character. Both of them are only able to get out of sticky situations with both of them helping each other out. And this doesn't have and there's also a tug and pull between him being a part of what's right with the Black Panthers and him doing his job, and those two clash, and he doesn't know what to do, and it's a whole thing. And anytime, uh, um, God, the director for this film, I can't remember off the top of my head. But this was excellently directed. I know Jordan Peele produced this. It's gonna come to my head who directed it in a minute. I'm gonna completely forget all about it with this movie when I'm done filming. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I don't know why I didn't think of him. But yes, this movie was excellent, and it was one hell of a debut for John David Washington. What better way to make your on-screen debut than playing um, um, a character like this? Uh, and okay, next one, number 6, is Get Out. And this film, when this film was first made, this film was filmed like maybe in 2 months, and I think when the trailer first dropped, a lot of people didn't care about it. They were like, "Oh, another horror film. It doesn't really look that interesting." But I think that the cheapest films are always usually the best ones. Fruitvale Station, Nightmare on Elm Street, Get Out. Those weren't made on a ton of money, but they did great in, well, not only the box office, uh, but overall with the critics. And this movie, there's a lot of little Easter eggs. If you go back and watch it, there's a lot of how black people are, um, how a lot of times white people want to, I guess you could say, they want to be us, steal our style. They want to, in the whole slavery auction thing. Great, um, there's a great part of the movie. in the beginning that I don't think a lot of people notice, and that's when Rose stops the gets pissed at the police officer for wanting to check Chris's driver's license and ID is because she didn't want to be suspicious. I mean, she didn't want to be a suspect when he disappeared. So there's a lot of like small things like that. A lot of people might not realize the first time, but when you go back and watch it, it's really great. And even though this isn't technically a horror film, it's more like mystery, thriller, suspense. Um, Jordan Peele is exceptional when it comes to making an audience um, feel frightened, feel scared, and this movie just knocked it out of the park. Jordan Peele definitely has a big future in the horror, mystery, thriller department. Next one, number 5, Fruitvale Station. This came out in 2015. I mean, not 2015, 2013. Uh, Ryan Coogler's directional debut, and it was, I believe, it was the shooting of Oscar Grant, which took place New Year's Eve 2009, I believe it was, and it details the last 24 hours of his shooting. I mean, of his life, him hanging out with his family, his friends, his job, all of that, and it really details how important black people, stuff like this is to the black community. And I don't think a lot of people really knew who Oscar Grant was until they saw this movie. I think a lot of this, some stuff like this, sometimes it flies under the radar and a lot of people don't know about it, which is why I love this movie. And it's really important for black people to be, I guess aware of their surroundings and the situations that they're in. And Ryan Coogler is one of the best new up and coming directors that tells our story, tells our pain and what we're going through. And Michael B. Jordan, he definitely won us over with this, and I can't wait to see what both of them are going to do in the near future, because anytime they're on a project together, you know that it's going to be great. Next one, number 4, is Ray. Now, be aware, I have not watched this movie in a very long time. It's been a while. This was one of my favorite movies, actually. And Jamie Foxx, God, he embodies Ray Charles. I mean, he looks just like him. Even everything that he does reminds me of Ray Charles. It never felt like he was playing a character. It felt like you was just looking at Ray Charles with his mannerisms and his singing. And even he told a story once about going to play with Ray Charles at his house to prepare for the film, and he was so dedicated to this role that even he had his eyes glued shut or whatever for the majority of the film. And whenever they would take it off, it would be like staring at the sun because his eyes were closed for so long. But yes, the music is exceptional. They don't get, like I said, biopics. It's really hard to do biopics because you can't include everything, but they do try their best to include the important stuff of his life, and I think they did a great job with it. And Jamie Foxx definitely deserved his Oscar for this film. Next one, number 3, is 42 by Chadwick Boseman, starring Chadwick Boseman, and he plays famous baseball player Jackie Robinson, and this I think this was 1940s, I can't remember, sometime like that, and um, he was the very first African American baseball player on a all white baseball team, on an all white baseball team, and of course the stuff that he had to go through was terrible. He had to go through so many um, excuse me, so many um, threats and people antagonizing him and stuff like that, um, and this going back and watching this just makes me miss Chadwick even more because he gave one hell of a performance in this film, and I wish we could get to see more of him because I know that when it comes to roles like this, he puts his all in it, and this is a movie that I think when it comes to films like this, I think black people should know more about our um, and I guess people that came before us, whether it's Jackie Robinson or Martin Luther King or the person who invented the the street lights, stuff like that. But yes, this is a great film, and yeah, I mean, yeah. Number two, another Chadwick Boseman film, and another Michael B. Jordan film, which is Black Panther. I mean, I had to put this on the list. I mean, this film is not only one of the best superhero films of all time, but I'd say one of the best films ever. If I were to do a list of my favorite movies of all time, this would definitely make the list. And it's not because it's a superhero movie. It's because I think Ryan Coogler and Chadwick, and they inspired a lot of people, a lot of young, not only young African American boys and girls, but a lot of African American people that hey, that we can be kings and queens too, and they display that perfectly with Wakanda, and how Wakanda look was very beautiful, and I didn't think that we would ever get a superhero film with an all black cast, but of course, we had some haters, and the whole I can't watch Black Panther because I'm black thing, that was just ridiculous. But I think this brought everyone together, comic book fans and non-comic book fans, because people that didn't read comic books were going to see this movie because I, either maybe their favorite actor was in it, Chadwick or Michael, or maybe because it was an all black cast, which has never been done before. And I think we need more movies like this to teach little ones that anyone can be a superhero, no matter what color you are, no matter what race you are, how old you are, it doesn't matter. And yes, this was an exceptional film, and Michael B. Jordan plays a badass villain. Even though he didn't get a lot of screen time, this was probably one of his best performances. And next and final, number one, I guess you guys weren't expecting this, Malcolm X. Denzel, first of all, let me just say, that this is the movie Denzel should have won an Oscar for. Training Day was great, but in my opinion, he should have won an Oscar for this movie. But Denzel, Spike Lee, that's who I was thinking of, that directed Black Klansman, who also directed um, his dad's movie, which is this, Malcolm X. And it's kind of funny how Spike Lee directed um, Denzel Washington playing a real life African American spokesman in a biopic with Denzel, and then years later he would direct his son in a film based on a true story about um, a black detective in the 1960s infiltrating the KKK. I just find that kind of ironic, but Denzel gives a great performance. He has a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? He has a lot of you can just feel like you're actually watching, you're actually hearing from Malcolm X when you see Denzel Washington perform, and Denzel embodies Malcolm X. I mean, he does a great performance, and if you guys haven't seen this film, you need to check it out because it truly is a magnificent piece of work. But yes, that's my top 10 list of 10 films you guys should watch to celebrate Black History Month. Let me know if I left anything off the list, because I might have. Um, but let me know if you agree with this list, disagree. But don't forget to leave in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.